And this is a Fox News alert, and you're looking at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel right here in New York City, where in just a few minutes, both President Obama and Governor Mitt Romney will take to the stage at the annual Alfred E. Smith Memorial Dinner. Now, do not expect a repeat of debate night here. Now, the candidates, they're going to trade politics for laughs while they attempt to deliver their funniest one-liners. It is a night that has become known for its comedic tone. Now, the annual charity fundraiser is organized by the Catholic Archdiocese of New York City for the benefit of needy children, and it honors the life of Alfred E. Smith, New York's renowned governor, one-time presidential candidate who devoted his life to helping children. Now, the dinner has been a required stop for politicians since the end of World War II, and it's become a tradition for presidential candidates to attend every 4 years. And since its inception, the gala has produced some very funny, very memorable moments like this.
The odd thing was she handed me a bill for $15,000. Can you imagine? Sure, you know, grown man paying $15,000 for somebody to tell you what to wear? Heck, $15,000 these days gets you a sleepover in the Lincoln bedroom.
By the way, was it my imagination or did Mayor Giuliani nod when I said, "Your Excellency"? Did you notice that?
I can't shake that feeling that some people here are pulling for me. I'm delighted to see you here tonight, Hillary.
It is an honor to be here with Al Smith. I obviously never knew your great-grandfather, but from everything that Senator McCain has told me, the two of them had a great time together before Prohibition.
And in just a few minutes, Mitt Romney will deliver his speech, followed by President Obama, and we will bring you both of their remarks in full. And while the jokes and the laughter will definitely be on the menu, don't expect this dinner to be tension-free. Now, both candidates are coming off a very heated debate, and the charity event will be hosted by Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who has publicly clashed with the president over contraception and provisions in the new health care law. Also today, the latest National Gallup poll is showing Governor Mitt Romney pulling away 52 to 45%, clearly showing that the momentum remains in the governor's favor. And we're going to have much more on this poll coming up later this hour. And before Mitt Romney heads to the podium, let me bring in my panel. From the National Review, Fox News contributor Rich Lowry, radio talk show host, liberal, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, and the co-host of The Five, our very own Dana Perino. This is a fun event. You remember with President Bush?
Yeah, I love this event, and I think it's great that the Cardinal is sitting between the two of them. That will maybe help ease tensions. It also is a moment for everybody to step back and say, okay, we should be focusing on the bigger picture here. We've got 19 days left to go in a very tight election, though the Gallup poll today was, I think, a surprise for everybody.
Well, the Gallup poll, and we have, Leslie, a poll out of Pennsylvania. Bit of a shock. Now, the polls have been tightening there. It was a two-point race. Now they've got a 4-point lead in Pennsylvania for Governor Romney.
Well, that's today. You know, the polls go up and down, and I'm still thinking that the president's going to take Pennsylvania. And but I look forward to tonight. Like Dana, I think we all need a breather. I mean, I know I need a breather.
I want another 5 debates. I want more tension.
You haven't been breathing for 5 years.
I did it well. Yeah, pretty much. But you know, what do you make of this? Dinner's fun, but with that said, I watched that debate the other night. I did not see two people that liked each other very much.
They do not like each other. So on the record, President Obama, basically his aides talking to people anonymously, political reporters, say he has contempt for Mitt Romney. And I think his whole campaign has been run that way, and it's not served him well. Sean, I think the Romney people initially had a false view of this race. They thought it just was a referendum about President Obama. It was always going to be a choice. They had to offer a positive vision. Romney finally did that in the first debate. The Obama people, on the other hand, have always said it's a choice, but they've been running as though it's a referendum on the challenger. The president does not have a second-term agenda. He is not telling people what he's going to do the next 4 years, and that's why even in that second debate, which some polls gave to President Obama, you go inside, you ask who has the plan, you ask who do you trust on the economy. Mitt Romney won those questions going away.
The CBS poll had it 65-34 on the economy, giving it to Governor Romney.
Astonishing.
You know, I'll ask you, because Democrats have been saying, where's the specifics of Romney's plan? Romney's been very specific. I can tell you in all the interviews I've had with him, what is Obama's second term? You're a Democrat. You're supporting Obama.
Well, honestly, I think the frustration of the American people, clearly, and even Democrats like myself, are a bit angry, and this is why we don't say huge point spreads on either side, with the lack of specifics from both. And you might say specifics are there for Governor Romney, but they don't add up.
What is President Obama's, you sum it up for me. We're 19 days out of the election. Surely you know what his plan is.
Well, the president has been very clear on his plan.
What
I
is
think
it?
Just as clear as Mitt Romney's plan.
What is the president's plan?
The president different. He wants to work with the middle class, and instead of working with the like we have attempted to with the
that's his plan.
No, he wants to benefit the middle class.
Because I like you, I'm going to pull my foot. And because it's a fun night,
he wants to reward people for insourcing jobs instead of reward people for shipping more jobs overseas.
There we go. We got the plan. All right. So the bottom line is no plan. Here's what I want to ask you. There's something that happened today, and all of this finger pointing over Benghazi. Now, we've got ads, we've got other polls. I'll show you this up. We don't have time right now. Bill Clinton went out there today. Remember, Hillary said the buck stops with me. I thought that was a shot, basically saying she's in charge. I think there's more behind this. I hear that, in fact, that there are memos that she requested security from Libya. There is a full 50-minute tape of what happened that night in Libya. And the American people, you deserve to see this before the election takes place. Bill Clinton said today, Governor Romney's argument is, we're not fixed, so fire and put me in. It's true. We're not fixed, he said. He said when President Clinton looked in the eyes of that man who said in the debate, I had so much hope 4 years ago, I don't now, I thought he was going to cry because Obama knows it's not fixed.
Well,
wow.
I'll
show it later.
Nobody feels anybody's pain like President Clinton. I don't think President Obama was about to cry, but if, maybe they know something that I was about to cry.
He was going to cry after the first debate, I think.
I think
the first debate. Well, look,
I think that was deeper.
I was
if Hillary's saying the buck stops with me, basically I'm president, stealing that from Harry Truman, and he's saying he's about to cry, why do I think the Clintons are angry? And Bill Clinton never got over it when they played the race card against them, but they're angry at the president for blaming his wife, just like the intelligence community's mad that they're being blamed.
That may be true, but he also, I mean, he's basically telling what everyone knows to be true. The president cannot run on his record, and this is why he's in such a horrible situation. He can't run on his record, but as Leslie demonstrates, he doesn't really have an agenda either. So what does he have? He can only tear down Mitt Romney. And it worked for about 2 months when he had free running room, negative ads to portray Mitt Romney as a monster. Then what happened? Mitt Romney got up in front of 70 million people, and people saw who he is, and he's a totally capable and responsible guy, and all those ads went away, and Mitt's been rising since.
What Karl Rove said, and I'll get to Dana in a second because we're both good friends with Karl. Karl Rove said there's never been, at this point in the race, somebody above 50%, this is 2 days in a row, Gallup poll, national poll, and lost an election.
Yeah, but we also have a lot of, I mean, we have a man who's the first biracial African-American who's ever been president. And quite frankly, there's no Republican who's ever become president without winning Ohio. And I don't think Governor Romney's going to get Ohio.
Obama in his career, though.
You know, I don't want to say that with the Clinton thing, you're standing on the grassy knoll, but I did want to address that. When it first came out, and quite frankly, the secretary gets up and says the buck stops with me. I don't think anybody tells Hillary what to do. I'll be very honest.
But don't you think Bill Clinton's mad? I sense,
no.
You know, when Bill Clinton is actually admitting, Governor Romney, fire him, put me in, because he hasn't fixed it, and Obama almost cried because he knows he hasn't
fixed it. The president, and that's one of the things he said, and he said that when he first actually got elected, he said this wasn't going to happen overnight or in 4 years.
This was a Clinton.
Mitt Romney can't even, if he comes in January,
that they are blaming his wife from Benghazi.
Well, and actually,
I think she accepted responsibility for her position.
She accepted responsibility for one part of it, which is the decision of what security goes where around the world, and I think that's the right thing to do. But they still leave a ton of unanswered questions, including why then did the UN ambassador, Susan Rice, go on 5 Sunday shows and tell the American people something that turns out not to be true?
5 days later.
Who told her to say that? How did they coordinate? I know what prep is like for a Sunday show. Someone specifically said to say that. It turns out not to be true, and it turns out that they knew it wasn't true. Somebody is not talking to one another. If they put all of them in different rooms and interrogated all of them and asked them all the same questions, there would be so many different answers.
And Dana, one thing. It was 5 days with Susan Rice and Jay Carney. It was 9 days with the president, 14 days with the president when he went on The View and was asked a direct question. Yeah. I don't know if it's terror. They knew within 24 hours the State Department was watching this in real time, and apparently I have very good information tonight, and we will break it here tomorrow night. that they knew they were under attack and help was requested and apparently not given.
Denied.
Yeah, my understanding, it was a rather long-lasting event, the attack. So it stands to reason they would call in for help. And going back to the Susan Rice testimony, another thing that's curious about it, to kind of understate the word, is why would she go out there and say things that apparently the State Department itself didn't believe? We had a State Department official just recently saying, well, it wasn't our conclusion that it was a spontaneous protest that ran out of control. You had a State Department official saying we were monitoring in real time. So how did Susan Rice, part of the State Department, get it into her head to say these other things? And Dana, do you just think, if you're a high official in a re-election campaign and something like this happens and someone's going on every single Sunday show, would you not communicate with that person? You know, doesn't it stand to reason a Fluff or an Axelrod would have talked to her beforehand?
Or if you are her, you would say, I don't want to talk to anybody from the campaign. See, one of the big problems is...
By the way, I think I see our boss on the dais there. Roger Ailes is the CEO of the Fox News Channel. I think I see him right there.
Yeah.
He would write some funny lines for this.
He would, but he's in the news business. He can't.
Right. That's right. I do think they have a problem. One of the biggest mistakes that the Obama campaign and the White House made was not drawing a clear, distinct line between in Benghazi attacks to say only government officials should answer questions about this to protect the integrity of it. By allowing all of those other spokespeople to come out, they politicized it.
All right, we go to the Alfred E. Smith dinner at the Waldorf Astoria. Governor Romney takes to the podium, and then Barack Obama, and we'll listen in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your Eminence, Cardinal Dolan, Mr. President, Governor Cuomo, Mayor Bloomberg, Senator Schumer, Al and Ann Smith, thank you for your invitation. Thank you for your extraordinarily warm welcome. Ann and I appreciate your friendship very, very much. Thank you. Now, Al, you are right. A campaign can require a lot of wardrobe changes. Blue jeans in the morning, perhaps, suit for a lunch fundraiser, sport coat for dinner, but it's nice to finally relax and to wear what Ann and I wear around the house. I'm glad to be able to join in this venerable tradition. Of course, I'm pleased that the President's here. We were chatting pleasantly this evening as if Tuesday night never happened. And I credit that, of course, to the Cardinal. He has, it's taken New York's highest spiritual authority to get us back on our best behavior. I was actually hoping the President would bring Joe Biden along this evening, because he'll laugh at anything. Of course, this isn't a night for serious politics, and it was especially nice to see President Obama and Cardinal Dolan sharing the dais despite their differences. I'm sure the Cardinal has no hard feelings, and we might get an indication of that during dinner to see if the President's wine turns into water. Or for that matter, whether my water turns into wine. I'm pleased to once again have the chance to see Governor Cuomo, who's already being talked about for higher office. A very impressive fellow, but he may be getting a little ahead of himself. I mean, let me get this straight. The man has put in one term as a governor. He has a father who happened to be a governor, and he thinks that's enough to run for president. Of course, we're down to the final months of the president's term. As President Obama surveys the Waldorf banquet room with everyone in white tie and finery, you have to wonder what he's thinking. So little time, so much to redistribute. And don't be surprised if the president mentions this evening the monthly jobs report where there was a slight improvement in the numbers. He knows how to seize the moment, this president, and already has a compelling new campaign slogan. You're better off now than you were 4 weeks ago. You know, with or without all the dignitaries that are here, the Al Smith dinner surely lives up to its billing. Usually when I get invited to gatherings like this, it's just to be the designated driver. Your kind hospitality here tonight gives me a chance to convey my deep and long-held respect for the Catholic Church, have special admiration for the Apostle St. Peter, to whom it is said, upon this rock I will build my church. The story is all the more inspiring when you consider that he had so many skeptics and scoffers at the time who were heard to say, if you got a church, you didn't build that. Of course, only 19 days to go into the finish line. Campaign full of surprises. The debates are very exciting. Just the other night, we had a very fun debate. Candy Crowley was there and was happy to welcome us. But people seem to be very curious as to how we prepare for the debates. Let me tell you what I do. First, refrain from alcohol for 65 years before the debate. Second, find the biggest available straw man and then just mercilessly attack it. Big Bird didn't even see it coming. And by the way, in the spirit of Sesame Street, the President's remarks tonight are brought to you by the letter O and the number 16 trillion. Campaigns can be grueling, exhausting. President Obama and I are each very lucky to have one person who's always in our corner, someone who we can lean on, and someone who's a comforting presence without whom we wouldn't be able to go another day. I have my beautiful wife, Ann. He has Bill Clinton. We got a big dose of the Biden charm last week, I'll tell you that, in his debate with Paul Ryan. I'm not sure that all that carrying on had quite the effect that Joe intended, because afterwards I heard from the Federal Election Commission. From now on, whenever he appears on TV, there's a recording of me afterwards that says, I'm Mitt Romney and I approve this message. Of course, rules of fairness have to be enforced, because what other safeguard do we have besides the press? And now, I never suggest that the press is biased. I recognize they have their job to do, and I have my job to do. My job is to lay out a positive vision for the future of the country, and their job is to make sure no one else finds out about it. Let's just say that some in the media have a certain way of looking at things. When suddenly I pulled ahead in some of the major polls, what was the headline? Polls show Obama leading from behind. And I've already seen early reports from tonight's dinner. Headline, Obama embraced by Catholics. Romney dines with rich people. Of course, the president has put his own stamp on relations with the church. There have been some awkward moments, like when the president pulled Pope Benedict aside to share some advice on how to deal with his critics. He said, look, Holy Father, whatever the problem is, just blame it on Pope John Paul II. Of course, the president has found a way to take the sting out of the Obamacare mandates for the church. From now on, they're going to be in Latin. We have very fundamental and sound principles that guide both the President and me. He and I, of course, feel the pressures and tensions of a close contest. It'd be easy to let a healthy competition give way to the personal and the petty, but fortunately, we don't carry the burden of disliking one another. Our President has had some very fine and gracious moments. Don't tell anyone I said so, but our 44th President has many gifts and a beautiful family that would make any man proud. You can oppose... In our country, you can oppose someone in politics and make a confident case against their policies without any ill will. And that's how it is for me. There's more to life than politics. At the Al Smith Foundation and the Archdiocese of New York, you show this in the work you do, in causes that run deeper than allegiance to party or to any contest of the moment. No matter which way the political winds are blowing, what work goes on day in, day out by this organization and you. You answer with calm and willing hearts, in service to the poor, in care for the sick, in defense and the rights of conscience, and in solidarity with the innocent child waiting to be born. You strive to bring God's love into every life. I don't presume to have all your support, and on a night like this, I'm certainly not going to ask for it. But you can be certain that in the great causes of compassion that you come together to embrace, that I stand proudly with you as an ally and friend. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Governor Mitt Romney, the Alfred E. Smith dinner tonight, and we are awaiting the remarks by President Barack Obama. He killed it. He killed the room. That was very funny.
Excellent. He wrote a great speech, and also he has great timing, and he showed something that a lot of the Republicans on the conservatives were clamoring for during the primary. They wanted somebody with a little bit of an edge, a little bit of an ability to needle the other person, which he showed he could do.
Yeah, the headline tomorrow is that President Obama, was brought into engaged with Catholics, and Romney dines with rich people.
I know, that was funny. I did. He didn't write it, though. Come on, let's be honest. Neither one of them are writing their jokes, but I thought he did a good job, especially because of he's perceived as being very stiff. And
we've got round two. President Obama takes to the podium. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone, please take your seats. Otherwise, Clint Eastwood will yell at them. Thank you to Al and Nan, to Your Eminence, Governor, Ms. Romney, Governor Cuomo, Mayor Bloomberg, Senator Schumer, all the distinguished guests who are here. In less than 3 weeks, voters in states like Ohio, Virginia, and Florida will decide this incredibly important election, which begs the question, what are we doing here? Of course, New Yorkers also have a big choice to make. You have to decide which one of us you want holding up traffic for the next 4 years. Tonight, I am here with a man whose father was a popular governor and who knows what it's like to run a major northeastern state and who could very well be president someday, and I'm hoping it is Andrew Cuomo. This is the third time that Governor Romney and I have met recently. As some of you may have noticed, I had a lot more energy in our second debate. I felt really well rested after the nice long nap I had in the first debate. Although it turns out millions of Americans focused in on the second debate, who didn't focus in on the first debate, and I happen to be one of them. I particularly want to apologize to Chris Matthews. 4 years ago, I gave him a thrill up his leg. This time around, I gave him a stroke. Of course, there's a lot of things I learned from that experience. For example, I learned that there are worse things that can happen to you on your anniversary than forgetting to buy a gift. So, take note, gentlemen. Now, win or lose, this is my last political campaign. So I'm trying to drink it all in. Unfortunately, Mayor Bloomberg will only let me have 16 ounces of it. But that's okay. I'm still making the most of my time in the city. Earlier today, I went shopping at some stores in Midtown. I understand Governor Romney went shopping for some stores in Midtown. And it brought back some great memories because some of you know I went to school here in New York, had a wonderful experience here. Used to love walking through Central Park, loved to go to Old Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built, although he really did not build that. I hope everybody's aware of that. It's been 4 years since I was last at the Al Smith dinner. And I have to admit some things have changed since then. I've heard some people say, Barack, you're not as young as you used to be. Where's that golden smile? Where's that pep in your step? And I say, settle down, Joe. I'm trying to run a cabinet meeting here. He does smile when he says it, though. Tomorrow, it's back to campaigning. I visit cities and towns across our great country, and I hear the same thing everywhere I go. Honestly, we were hoping to see Michelle. And I have to admit, it can be a grind. Sometimes it feels like this race has dragged on forever. But Paul Ryan assured me that we've only been running for 2 hours and 50-something minutes. Of course, the economy is on everybody's minds. The unemployment rate is at its lowest level since I took office. I don't have a joke here. I just thought it would be useful to remind everybody that the unemployment rate is at the lowest it's been since I took office. And we're getting to that time when folks are making up their minds. Just the other day, Honey Boo Boo endorsed me. So that's a big relief. Ultimately, though, tonight's not about the disagreements Governor Romney and I may have. It's what we have in common, beginning with our unusual names. Actually, Mitt is his middle name. I wish I could use my middle name. And even though we're enjoying ourselves tonight, we're both thinking ahead of our final debate on Monday. I'm hoping that Governor Romney and I will have a chance to answer the question that is on the minds of millions of Americans watching at home. Is this happening again? Why aren't they putting on The Voice? Now, Monday's debate is a little bit different because the topic is foreign policy. Spoiler alert, we got bin Laden. Of course, world affairs are a challenge for every candidate. After, some of you guys remember, after my foreign trip in 2008, I was attacked as a celebrity because I was so popular with our allies overseas. And I have to say I'm impressed with how well Governor Romney has avoided that problem. Now, just so everyone knows, in our third debate, we won't spend a whole lot of time interrupting each other. We will also interrupt the moderator just to mix things up. And finally, let me say that I've been doing some thinking, and I've decided that for our final debate, I'm going to go back to the strategy I used to prepare for the first debate. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make Axelrod sweat a little bit. Get him a little nervous. In all seriousness, I couldn't be more honored to be here this evening. I'm honored to be with leaders of both the private and public sectors, and particularly the extraordinary work that is done by the Catholic Church. You know, it's written in Scripture. It's written in Scripture that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope. This country's fought through some very tough years together, and while we still have a lot of work ahead, we've come as far as we have mainly because of the perseverance and character of ordinary Americans. And it says something about who we are as a people that in the middle of a contentious election season, opposing candidates can share the same stage. People from both parties can come together. Come together to support a worthy cause. And I particularly want to thank Governor Romney for joining me, because I admire him very much as a family man and a loving father. And those are two titles that will always matter more than any political ones. So, we may have different political perspectives, but I think, in fact, I'm certain that we share the hope that the next 4 years will reflect the same decency and the same willingness to come together for a higher purpose that are on display this evening. May we all, in the words of Al Smith, do our full duty as citizens. God bless you. God bless your families. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
And there you have it, President Barack Obama and Mitt Romney at the Alfred E. Smith dinner. You could see Cardinal Timothy Dolan right in the middle of the two of them, which may actually be a good thing. When we come back with our panel, we're going to analyze, well, who might have had the better night. And we'll come back. We'll continue. We also have our media bias segment and all the other news of the night, including some breaking news tonight straight ahead.